it's been going on pretty well. You know, getting out to meet the people, and well, obviously it's a different story to tell now. Trying to make people understand of the move that I had made, because obviously a lot of people were taken aback by they did not really anticipate this coming, but you know. Now that they've come to terms with what it all means, you know, this is all about the district and the benefit for constituents in Vaimauga 3. They're slowly coming around, you know, and showing a lot of support for the campaign.
You mentioned you're at the stage now where you're trying to get people to understand. There's been a lot of criticism in your party switch. How have you handled the criticism? In the earlier press release from your wife who sent through, there's a section where it mentions you and your family and certain, feedback. What do you have to say about the criticism amongst those who questioned your switch?
Yeah, well, you know, it's a necessary evil that people have to face when they have to come across change. You know, change is it's sort of intimidating for a lot of people. You know, it's naturally that way. You know, they don't know, they can't see the future, they don't know what to expect. And it comes with a lot of criticism, obviously. And I've copped it from, not just the supporters of the HRPP, but earlier on from FAST members, you know, who possibly saw it as this is a job to them. You know, I was on the other side, and now I'm switching over to their side. But, you know, in reality, we have to accept criticism as they come and just stand steadfast in our belief that this is the right path, this is the way forward for the district.
Ultimately, has recently come live with comments regarding, there's a saying where now that everyone's switching to the opposition party, they're entitled to the benefits, but that's incorrect. The benefits are, it's for everyone, not just depending on what side you move. Have you heard the recent other clips, not other claims, but he recently said that?
So, well,
he's come out publicly with those.
Well, that's his take on it, you know, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But the fact of the matter, it appears on paper. It is all fine on paper. You know, when you talk about distributing and democracy and all of that, you know, equal distributing of funds and benefits for the country and across, all the different districts. But in reality, that's a different story. Now, when you look at how the same, I'm going to use this example. You know, he said, look at all the 51 districts. You know, they're all getting the same amount. And with that same example, look at the 51 districts. Who's in charge? The FAST members are in charge. You know, not necessarily those who won the elections. So it's very clear. You're going to see people have to be aligned with the ruling party in order for you to access and, well, for the district constituents to have better access to those funds and all the benefits that come with it.
During your time as the MP under the HRPP, were you struggling to get that benefit? Were you struggling to have access to those benefits under the HRPP banner?
Well, obviously the benefits did not come out when I was under HRPP flag. You know, when I was under their banner, the 1.8 million hadn't been rolled out yet. So there was nothing to struggle with. I still got my pay.
On that topic of the 1.8 million you were quite vocal on your social media posts and Vaimauga regarding, the chairman selection and everything leading up to it.
Can you take me back? Can you refresh me with what I posted?
So there was a letter from the Ministry of Women that it was in regards to the position of chairman, and you had questioned why you didn't receive that letter or why you weren't aware of it. Because under the last administration, an MP would automatically get the chairman, and now under this administration they've changed, or now it's a bill that was passed in Parliament. Now it's a bill. Just going back there, when you were vocal about this during a few months, it suddenly changed.
And now you see where that has taken me. Now you see how the government has taken that, and they've taken on board that as constructive criticism to build what we have as a bill now. You know, taking into account all of us as MPs from the opposition now were given that chance to apply, along with everyone else. I mean, with the losing candidates. So here I am. I'm part of that board now for our district. So yeah, you know, life takes you different turns, and from there, I'm here now as part of the district council.
I also have a question in regards to when you had run under the HRP. A lot of people had voted for you because you ran for HRP.
How do you know that? Did you take a poll?
Well, this is what they're saying.
Well, how many people did you interview?
I'm just reiterating what people have said.
And I'm talking, you know, I was the standing MP for HRPP, and I know a lot of people voted for me personally because of what I can achieve and what they see I have plans for the betterment and the development of our district.
Just moving on to this election, though, what gives you the confidence that those same people would vote for you again?
I'm not confident about how people will vote. All I know is I'm confident that I will do the best that I can as an MP for them. It doesn't matter. That's entirely up to individual voters who they decide, you know, to present their arguments in Parliament. For me, what I'm confident about is that I can do the best job there is for them. Regardless of how people vote, I know I will always step up and do the job that is needed.
And just on that topic as well, of people, you know, information that's coming into Samoa, such as, you know, the ministerial portfolio of works is now vacant. Are you gunning for that ministerial?
No. I'm not gunning. I'm not looking far any further beyond the polls on the 1st of May. That's my full concentration is just for the 1st of May. Anything that happens after that, then when we cross that bridge, you know, we'll see what happens.
And then I also have a question on last election. It was a really tight race between you and LTV with 126 votes.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
And what it shows that this move that I made was never done with any certainty or any confidence at all. I did it solely for my district's benefit. And like I said, win or lose, I had set up that path knowing that this is the right path for them. So if they choose otherwise, that's their decision. And I will respect it.
Just on last year's election as well, when you ran from the Vaimauga area, and you again are running from...
No, Manyane is my village.
Manyane, sorry, but most of your votes were from the Vaimauga.
My family is up there.
Yeah.
I've got families everywhere in the district.
Speaking of family, both of your cousins, I've been told, from my aunt and Monia, also ran. Does this worry you that majority of your voters that came from last year in the area now have someone running from the area?
No, when you're talking about numbers, I have to worry. You know, because obviously my family now will be left almost undecisive. You know, because of there's 3 of us now. You know, we're all going for the same ticket. So maybe they'll vote for who's the best looking candidate there is, or maybe they'll vote for who's more vocal, or maybe they'll vote for, you know, someone that shows up at the family funerals and all of that. But I don't know, you know, but yes, in terms of numbers, I would worry. But with regards to them as my family running in the same race, no, they remain family. You know, family is family.
Was it a tactic for all 3 of you to run?
Tactic? They're coming against me. What are you saying? This does not serve any benefit for me, having them running, you know, in this race. It doesn't help me at all. So it's not a tactic from my end.
I read also that you visited 22 villages. What are some of the feedbacks?
There are 23 villages in my district, and I visited 14 of them.
14.
And that accounts for the majority of the district.
What are some of the feed forward that's happened in those consultations?
There has been an overwhelming voice from my district, you know, to get our district. I mean, they told me as the MP back then, you know, listen to the government. You know, listen to the government, align yourself with the government, and whatever the benefits that they have to offer, so that our people, you know, will benefit. I mean, they see how things are.
Are there any challenges that they put forward to you, or any, say, construction that needs to be done in the villages? Any promises that you've made to them?
I made promises last year that I will do the best. You know, I will give the best that I have and all of me to serve my district, and that's the same promise I'm giving now. You know? And it's the reason why I resigned and running again in the by-election, because I believe this is the best decision for my district.
At what point along your journey with the HRPP that you knew that you were going to step down?
Well, the defining moment for me was, you know, having already received chairmanship, co-chairmanship of our district. For me, that was the platform that I needed in order to foresee how the distribution of benefits and all, you know, financial assistance for my district will be undertaken. However, when they asked of us as MPs for HRPP to sign an affidavit that they would present to court to remove us from that position, I felt it was unfair. As an MP for my district, that's what I stood up for. That's why I ran in the election, because I wanted to be, I totally believed people voted for me to be there, be part of that management that would be managing all the district funds and projects and development for the whole district.
And now just towards the end of our interview, thank you again for your time. Is there a message that you'd like to give out or say to the constituency and by-election? We're 2 weeks out now from voting day. A message to those.
Yeah, well, we live in the urban area, and it's quite different from the rest of the 51 districts. You know, we are part of what we call the urban seats or urban districts, and most of our constituents live on freehold property, which is unlike those that are in the rural areas, where most of them will be focusing on agriculture and all of that to develop, you know, each family or each household. For us, we look at how we can get employment for our people, because there's no land to work on. You know? So there are certain things and certain developments that I believe we can make steps in order to provide more employment for the people of Vaimauga 3. You know, and not only that, but you know, people of Vaimauga 3, they know where the benefits lie, and I've already set up the platform for them. All they gotta do is make that decision for themselves, whether they want to align themselves with the current government who is in power, or whether they choose someone else. And that's entirely up to them. And you know, this is, when people are talking about democracy, this is the truest form of democracy. Letting the people speak for themselves, and they make the vote.
Thank you again for that. Those are all my questions that I asked. Thank you again for your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.